We have Sgt Baker. He is with the Bureau of Investigation with the Lexington Police Department, and his specialty is financial crimes. And we have with him Detective Jason Wallace, and his specialty is identity theft. So both of them are going to be talking to us on all the scams that you need to be on the watch for. All right, so here is Sgt Baker.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for having us today. Once again, I'm Ben Baker. I'm with the Lexington Police Department. I've been with the police department for about 12 years. Currently working in the Bureau of Investigation, in the Financial Crimes Unit. Joining me is Detective Jason Wallace. How long have you been here, Jason?
About 16 years.
So he's been here longer than me. We both see a lot of very interesting things in our daily work. We both work at 150 East Main Street, so we work downtown. So we're both in an office building, primarily working on financial crimes. What our unit typically does on a daily basis is investigate credit card theft, credit card fraud, check fraud, embezzlements, employee thefts. We get counterfeit money. We'll get wire transfer frauds, all kinds of interesting things. And I know, I bet everybody in this room has probably received some sort of a spam email or phone call, something that you saw and you probably knew this is not right. And some of you have probably been the victim of a scam at some point in time. Raise your hand if you've been a victim of a scam. There's always at least somebody in the room, and it happens. You know, if you're a human being living on this earth, at some point you're going to be defrauded or scammed. It's just the nature of the technology and the time that we're living in. So what I'd like to do, we'll keep this pretty brief as far as our presentation goes. I would like to go over just a brief overview of some of the common scams that we're seeing right now, and then kind of go over how to protect yourself from some of these scams, some tips and things that we try to give out to the community and explain to people. So I'm gonna turn it over to Detective Wallace, and he's gonna go over some of the common scams that we're seeing, and then I'll go over some of the tips and tricks and things to be mindful of.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Wallace. How's everybody doing? Beautiful. All right. So basically what I'm gonna do, I'm going to run down some of these scams that I get in my office.
Or are you a scam?
I am a real person.
Okay, I like that.
Well, you can hear my voice. All right. So I'm going to throw this, like I said, most of these scams come through my office. And if you have any questions as I'm going through them, just let me know. Okay. So one of the, basically there's a romance scam. Anybody heard of a romance scam? So typically what you do is you get online and you find some lover, and then basically you're talking to somebody that's not even the United States. They'll convince you that there's some federal agent or some US military vet or something like that. And then they'll try to convince you to, hey, I need some money to get a plane ticket so I can come see you. And you'll transfer money, and then they'll make up some type of an excuse going, well, my plane got delayed, or I had to go back and do something out in the field and things of that nature. And they'll just drag you on and on and on and on and just take your money. They never come see you. So there's also a reshipping scam. That's basically where you are looking online and trying to find a job or something like that. And you think you're working for a legit company, and actually you're working for a scammer. So a scammer will actually send you product, and then the scammer will give you shipping labels, and then you are reshipping it to someplace else. So you don't even know that you're receiving stolen goods until the police come calling or knocking on your door. Also, we deal with a lot with Bitcoin scams. So essentially, the scammer will convince you to go to a Bitcoin machine for investments, or maybe you need it for attorney fees or something like that. Once you put your money in that Bitcoin machine and you give them the, I guess, the code that's involved with that transaction, it's gone. It's the odds of us getting that many money back it's not very likely. Because if you do anything with Bitcoin, you need to make sure that you're actually talking to somebody you know. Just stay away from it unless you're actually an expert in Bitcoin. You know what you're doing. So there's also the credit card scams. Essentially what they'll do is let's say you'll get like a pop-up or you'll get like a phone call and they'll convince you that, hey, your bank account's locked and what you need to do to save your funds is that you need to go take $10,000 in Target gift cards and then give me those gift card numbers over the phone in order to save your bank account. Well, in reality, your bank account's never been compromised. They just convinced you that it was. And then once you give that Target gift cards over the phone, they're depleting those funds immediately. Typically, once they've done that, it's gone. It's hard to get that money back because once they take that money off those gift cards, they're reselling it and it's going to someone else. I see a hand up. Got a question?
Yes, I do. In terms of, I got these text messages saying, or emails saying that a certain package, they want your shipping address to confirm that the package was legitimate. And I'm asking you if that's just junk.
It's junk. If you don't know where it's coming from, just delete it.
You
You know-
don't order anything?
Daily, I probably get some type of Amazon saying, hey, your account's been compromised. Click here to reset your password. Don't do it.
Got
All-
bank scam.
All you're doing is giving them your information and they're gonna use your
Yeah.
password. We got identity fraud. I get tons of identity fraud. I mean, it's so easy for people to use your identity for, like, for example, cellular carriers are really popular right now. People are going in and using your identity and getting new phones. And you typically don't know that you have a phone in your name until it's in collections. So then you gotta deal with that. Also, we got kidnap scams and with the AI technology. So whenever you are talking to a scammer, in theory, from what I've kind of researched a little bit, the scammer can record your voice and then use AI technology and use that voice to convince family members that you've actually been kidnapped and you're demanding money to see if you can get released. Pretty scary stuff. I get employee embezzlement cases all the time where employees are taking money out of safes and not actually depositing where it's supposed to go. We got warrant scams. Basically, they're convincing you that your child or grandchild has been arrested and they need attorney fees because they killed somebody because they were in a DUI crash. And people will go to the bank and try to help their child or grandchild and they'll either ship money by mail or give them gift cards over the phone. And typically when you do that, it's hard to recover it. Lottery scams. I had a lady a couple years ago, the scammer convinced her that she won about $3 million, but she had to pay $130,000 in taxes. But in order to do that, she had to go to the bank and get cash only. So she took $130,000 from her bank and mailed it to 3 different locations in the US. So, yeah, it's a lot. We got residential scams. This is extremely popular. Basically, the scammer is either using a legit website or social media. And then as you are looking for a property, the scammer is convincing you that, hey, you got to pay for this application fee. And then there'll be like another fee that you got to pay for. And then all you got to do is go to the house and the key's there. And then when you find out that there is no key there, and you paid all these fees for a property that was not legitimately posted. So the scammers can do that by they can double post a particular property. All they're doing is just looking up Zillow or rental.com or Facebook Marketplace. It's all there.
Whoa.
It's title fraud. I actually had somebody steal a church. So basically they created false documents and it looked legit. And then eventually it went over to the clerk's office and things got transferred. And obviously that's a disaster. Let's see here. Another scam.
Did it take the pastor too?
No, they were looking for one. Yes, go ahead,
I
sir.
got a question, like, I haven't gotten it for a long time, but one time I think I got a call years ago, it said like, you've won $1,000 or more, but you need to press 1. I just hung up.
That's the best thing to do. If you don't know who's calling you, just hang up. It's not worth it. I mean, if it's too good to be true, it's probably not true. Computer pop-ups. Well, this one here is still pretty popular. basically you'll be surfing the internet and some random thing will pop up and say your computer has a virus on it and you need to call this number.
I get those.
Just exit out of the Internet Explorer or whatever and just restart it. It's nothing. It's just trying to convince you to call this number. And then once you do finally reach this customer support, they're gonna convince you to go to Target or Walmart or the mall or whatever and get a bunch of gift cards. And then they're gonna convince you to give those gift card numbers over the phone. And like I said, once you do that, it's pretty much gone.
Question.
Yes.
You get a suspicious email, but you're not sure if it's somebody you know or not. Just by opening the email, are you putting yourself in a vulnerable situation?
Without seeing the email, I think if you just open it, you may be okay, but the attachments are within the email
Okay.
could cause problems. Because you could download something on your computer and you don't even know it. Yes,
There was a phone call one time, but sounded like it was from Social Security. I gave them my information in about 30 minutes. I thought it was a scam, so I called the real Social Security office and notified them immediately. And they flagged my account.
I had went through that. He called me from Social Security, want my information. I didn't give it to him. And I accidentally called the number back and the same gentleman answered. And I know that's not how they do that. So when I called Social Security, they hooked me up with the call center. And the guy couldn't give me any information. He couldn't even pull up the information for visually impaired clients. He couldn't get that up, you know. So that's been on my mind because I haven't got a couple of calls like that. And they give me information on my account changing. And I opted for that. So now I'm just don't know what to do with that.
so I guess essentially you're not for sure if your identity's been compromised or anything like that.
I'm not sure what if they're trying to compromise it, what kind of
So
information.
typically in the past, if you don't give a scammer your information or give them money, they'll eventually stop bothering you and go bother somebody else. Because they may end up giving their identity or money to them. If they're not making money, they're gonna find somebody else.
Well, I'm saying is I don't know
Yeah,
because I did opt for the service. So I don't know
I
if it's
would-
factual or, you
I
know,
would go directly to the social security
that's what
office
someone else told me.
and speak to somebody in person, especially with that, with benefits involved. You don't want something to become compromised when somebody else is gonna wind up getting your benefits
Okay,
or something happens like that. So I would definitely go in person and speak to somebody just to make sure that you're on the same page that they are and you know 100% what's being done with your account.
thank you. Appreciate that.
another one is contractor scams. They show up and give you an estimate, you give them money and they never come back.
Yeah.
Can I see another hand or question?
Another question? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was a target and my identity did get nailed. I was a victim of identity theft through the IRS. And it took me a year and a half to get it all cleaned up.
Yes,
And it wasn't federal that was pressing. It was the state of Kentucky.
okay.
But now, because I don't make enough money, I'm tax exempt, I don't have to do taxes. And somebody tried to file an illegal tax return on me by using all my information. And, so I had to go to Louisville, get that taken care of. And now my mom can claim me because I live there and I'm disabled. She can claim me on her house and that gives her a break on her house. But I have to get a number every year because my identity was compromised.
Yeah, unfortunately, once your identity has been compromised, it can be a train wreck sometimes and it can take forever. With that being said, if you don't have credit monitoring, I would encourage all of you folks to enroll. There are free ones and there's ones that cost money. I would encourage everyone to enroll in some type of credit monitoring and just check it monthly. That's probably a good practice. The last, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Duke is a bank or something?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many out there. There's tons.
And I'll go through that here in just a minute, some of our tips. I've
just
got
wanna know
several
what
different
those-
options of things that you guys can look
Sorry,
at.
guys.
No, you're fine, but I'll go in depth on that here in a minute.
And then we'll wrap up, one of the more popular scams is Facebook Marketplace, social media platforms. Essentially where they're selling stuff and they convince you to pay for the product first and they claim they're gonna ship it. Well, it never gets shipped. So basically, go ahead back there.
Bed Bath and Beyond closed it,
Uh-huh.
and then they said that they were selling stuff online. I got scammed, but I took care of it quickly and went to the bank and they did some research and they refunded my money.
Oh, that's good.
But like the website was so good, at the bank, there was one letter that was different than what Bed Bath and Beyond should be. They had all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
But they were gonna ship it to me and 2 months passed, I hadn't received it. So I go to the bank to see what's going on and they were able to refund it and let me know that they're scamming everybody and I'm still getting emails periodically.
Yeah.
Thinking that I'm gonna fall for the okie dokie, but I don't
And
think so.
speaking with internet and website scams, we've seen a lot lately, well, not a lot, but several people wanting to buy a dog or a pet. So they go to this fancy pet website. I believe you may have had a couple of these.
Oh, yeah, I get plenty of the pet
And
police reports.
the website is slightly different. The name of it is slightly different than what the real website is. And they end up sending thousands of dollars for a purebred dog, a rare dog that doesn't even exist. But then they'll get a phone call halfway through the process and they say, hey, the dog is held up at the airport. We're gonna have to pay an extra crate fee. We're gonna have to pay for extra for insurance. When there is no dog, you know, so we've seen a lot of things like that. Websites get compromised all the time, and you've got to be
Because I get, like-
sure what
like-
you're, yeah.
There's one scam that you all haven't mentioned,
Yeah.
I got a.
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Oh, there's hundreds.
Let me know that Apple's let me know that they're getting ready to charge my bank account for computers. I freaked out. I called the number, went through the whole process with them until they asked for my account number. I hung up the phone and called the bank. They said we would never ask for your account number over the phone.
Yeah.
Well, after that, the guy calls me back 3 times. You hung up for me. I said, this is a scam. And they called me back 2 more times. See if they can.
Yeah, scammers are really aggressive and they will talk down to you like no other.
Yep.
They're they're typically very mean to you.
Yep.
They'll threaten you with a warrant of arrest and they're going, why are you gonna arrest me if you're like Apple support or some type of support? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think there's another one going around that deals with like social media where it's gift card scams. Where you get on your social media and like you were saying, you're not really talking to the person that you think you're talking to.
Mhm.
And they're wanting you to go out, buy the buy the gift cards. And then download, you take a picture of your phone and then you send it to them that way.
Yes.
Well, we had one this morning, actually came through today, where a lady thought she was conversing online with a country music musician. She was not. Well, this country music musician offered her a financial opportunity to invest some money to triple her money in a week. So she sent $8,000 to who she thought was a prominent country music person. Turns out it was not. So now that money's gone forever, unfortunately. But yeah, just be very, very careful.
Because no entertainer, musician that is this status up here is gonna talk to somebody.
Yeah,
call you
personally.
Why not?
And probably because,
How they, I mean, they're gonna
a
pick
lot
out
of it is
a
run
lowly person's
by,
number.
a lot of it is run by their managers, their people dictate who they can talk to. They run everything pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Question in the back.
Yes, I know before Christmas, there was a lot that I read about where the gift card you would buy, like at Sam's or Kroger, a prepaid Visa card, for example. And then when you went to use it, it had been scammed and all the information had already been taken
Yes.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that
So-
problem been resolved?
So they're working on that. So
So I use a prepaid large Visa card to do online shopping. Do I just need to wait about a month or two before I buy another one? How do I know that I'm gonna be safe if I purchase a prepaid Visa or
You have
MasterCard?
to look at the card and see if it hasn't been, tampered
You
with.
can't tell.
You can't
the way-
tell.
What they're doing is they're counterfeiting the cards, and so the card that gets, so the card that gets activated is not the real card. People are going into the store with counterfeit cards and they're replacing the ones
Yes.
on the shelf
Yes.
with the counterfeit card. So when it gets rung up, unfortunately, the money goes onto that counterfeit card and it's immediately drained. We've seen several of these over Christmas where people have bought maybe an Amazon gift card for a family member for Christmas, and then the family member gets it and goes to use it and there's no money on it.
So when do we know that it is safe
I-
for us?
That is a
we
good
can even
question,
answer that question.
because that comes down to a internal security, with the protocols, with the different, like Costco, Walmart, all that kind of thing. They are aware of it and they are working. It's something, we are part of a group, financial institution security group. We have a monthly meeting and that's something that we discussed, and there actually was a partner with Walmart there this time. They're very aware of what's going on with that and they're taking some steps. I don't know if that means moving things to where they're in a secure location behind the shelf. To me, that would make sense, to where they have to go, an employee would have to get it for you to prevent, because we got video of people going into the store with a purse and they're pulling out 50 cards and replacing them. And I will say this, the Secret Service is also working on that. So I'm hoping that the retail establishments are going to start taking some better steps to protect you as a consumer.
So if I go to Sam's in the next 2 or 3 weeks and I want to buy a very large Visa card or MasterCard, do I need to ask them?
I would maybe just talk to a manager and just inquire, just say, you've been made aware of this scam and I want to make sure that I'm protected as a consumer. And, if, I just want to make sure that I'm doing the thing that's going to protect me. So, and I'm guessing they're going to be aware of that scam and hopefully they've taken some steps to prevent tampering of gift cards. And usually when these things kind of become well-known, the retail establishments start taking steps to protect, because they don't want to sustain a loss either. So you would just have to ask the manager wherever you're going.
And one more question, back to the title, stealing the property. Do you recommend for your grannies and your family to do title insurance, or is it a waste of money? Is there other ways that we can check that?
I'll leave that up to you, but I typically don't get many cases a year regarding title fraud. It's maybe just a couple.
It's not your typical, I've got a house, that I own and somebody randomly steals it. The circumstance we're speaking of, it was
It's known offenders typically
It
is
was
the
large.
cases that I deal with.
large commercial property with a very special circumstance. I'm not going to persuade or dissuade somebody from doing that. If that gives you some peace of mind, and
So
it's
your
reasonable.
companies like Legal Shield and some of these,
Yeah.
they don't cover the title insurance.
I don't know. I've not done much research on title insurance. I mean, I don't know. I don't see enough of it to where, I don't have it, but I don't see enough of it.
Yeah, but another thing that you can do periodically, if you want to call down to the courthouse or wherever the records are held, the clerk's office, and just say, hey, I just want to check on the status of the title for my house. And they can let you know, yep, still in your name. And then, and if something's not right.
Or you can also just go online and Google the Lexington Fayette PVA.
Mhm.
It'll show that you're the owner or not.
Yeah, so in the PBA website's a good way to do that.
Now, how about the cities and other properties?
Sure. And you should be able to Google those areas and hopefully you have access to where you can just type in the address and it'll tell you.
I live in Boyle County. I think it's similar up here. If you go to the website, the PVA website, and type in your address, it'll show you the owner's name. Yeah.
Thank you.
Were there any other questions?
Charles, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had one. There used to be a phone call that used to come in on my phone saying the IRS was gonna come by my house and knock on the door and arrest me. I said, well, you just come on by and I'll just call the cops and we'll settle this right here.
There you go.
I'll have the cops on over to
Yeah.
check you out.
I like it. They won't ever call you.
They won't call you.
You might get a letter in the mail from them.
If
They're-
they never came, I would have the cops there too.
And they're typically in another country anyway.
I'm talking about they showed up, you'd be there too.
We
Check
got,
'em out.
yeah.
Question, go
I
ahead.
got a question. Sometimes like I just have a cell phone, not the landline anymore.
Yeah.
But like if I get calls that says, like it'll say maybe Knoxville, Kentucky or Shelbyville, Kentucky or unknown caller. If I don't recognize the number, I don't answer. And then I figure if it's something important, I'll leave a message. Like one time, somebody did leave me a message and I called them back. I don't know what it was. Well, I said, when it called, it said spam, so I didn't answer it. Or it said unknown caller, I didn't answer it. But, sometimes if I don't recognize it, I don't answer it, and then I'll see if they leave a message.
Absolutely. That's what I do as well. And I feel like if it's important enough for them to call me and leave me a message, I'll listen to it. But you can usually tell if it's a spam call with the message that they leave.
Yeah, I've had on my phone, I have a lot of doctor's appointments, and, so I answer every call because they may be calling from home, which they've done before, and I won't look it in my phone, so,
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, it's tricky. It definitely is. Question in the back.
Okay, here's what I do. If I suspect a call is a spam call, I answer the call and say nothing. And then in about 20 seconds, they'll be gone.
yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, well, you can hear what they got to say that way. And
Then I go in and block them.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, next I would like to go into some ways to protect yourself. I know we've already talked about a lot of these different things, but just some different best practices and things. And first off was don't respond to an email you don't recognize. You know, they're casting that net out there and they're hoping that somebody's going to bite and they're going to get, you know, because 1,000 emails they send back, they're hoping they get one or two. And if they get substantial amount of money out of a couple, then they've done their job and they're doing all right. Don't give out any personal information over the phone or email. Somebody is not going to call you from your bank and say, hey, I need to know your account number. I need to know your social security number. I need to know your date of birth. That's not going to happen. Bad things are going to happen if you give out that information. Don't give other people your passwords. Don't give other people that are not trusted to you, like a PIN number for a card. There are certain government benefits that's actually not allowed by the program to give another person your PIN number. And they may hold you liable if somebody fraudulently uses that and you try to claim it as fraud. So that could become a problem. Use caution if you're downloading software or if you're getting a text message. If you click on a link, things can go places you're not hoping that they go. And you can get some viruses on your computer or things like that. Sometimes we've seen the scam where somebody, you get the pop up for the antivirus, you click on it and they tell you to call, you do call. Well, they're going to find a way to remote into your computer if you give them enough information through maybe that email they sent, and your bank account can get drained before you even really know what's going on. So just be careful. Don't ever mail money for people. Sometimes we see people get a check in the mail that says, hey, you've won the lottery. You know, if you send me this smaller amount of money, we'll send you back the $1 million. If it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If you develop some sort of a friendship or relationship with somebody and you're not really sure who they are, do not ever open a bank account for them. Agree to receive money from them. We had an instance a couple months ago. A lady here in town was receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars in bank deposits, wire deposits from out of state, probably out of country. She thought she was helping a friend, one of these romance scams. It was somebody lost in Germany trying to get back to the States and they just needed some help. So, and turns out a lady in Colorado was scammed out of her mortgage payoff. It was about $600,000. So if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Your local bank, the financial institutions you deal with, you find a trusted person there that you know and trust. And most of these people that work at banks, they're aware of what's going on with the current scams and they can help you. If you have a question, call your bank, call your financial institution, or call the police department. We're more than happy to help you prevent something from happening before we have a real big uh-oh. And then we're trying to, on the back end, figure out where your money went. Let me see here. Bitcoin. We'll talk about that. Okay. So your credit monitoring. And we're not going to advocate for any credit service more than the other one. I can only speak for what we use. Me personally, I use Credit Karma. It's a free service. It monitors all three of your credit bureaus. That's going to be Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So anytime there's any activity with your identity and somebody's trying to open an account or they're running your credit for a loan, a car loan or something like that, you're going to get an alert and you're immediately going to be notified that something's going on.
What's the name again of that?
That's Credit Karma.
Credit Karma.
Credit Karma. Yep, Credit
I
Karma.
also use that platform, and it's pretty good.
It's excellent. I've used it for several years. I've been very, very satisfied with that service. You can monitor your credit score, and you can look at all your accounts. I know he talked about people opening up lines of credit for loans, and then you find a bill that you're in collections for. If you have some sort of monitoring service, you can catch that before it becomes a big problem. And on the other side of that, and this is not something that I'm going to advocate for one way or the other. It's an option. I keep my credit frozen. You can do that directly through the 3 credit reporting bureaus, and that prevents anyone from opening any new lines of credit. They can't buy a house with your name. They can't get a car with your name. They can't open a credit card under your name. There's nothing they can do. There's some things they can do, but as far as opening a line of credit or a loan where your information is ran, if your credit is frozen, they can't do it. It's very simple. You can do it online or you can call based on the number on the website. And if you need to go make a large purchase or apply for a loan, you can unfreeze your credit almost instantaneously. So it's a very easy way to prevent somebody from doing something that might take months or even years to clear off of your credit report. One other thing that we didn't really talk about when we initially talked about scams, and this is something that we kind of co-investigate with another unit, elder abuse cases. We see this occasionally with somebody that you might allow inside your home to help you with medical needs or house cleaning, things of that nature. Just please be mindful if you have a checkbook or credit cards, financial information, keep that safeguarded, maybe a safe or something like that where anybody in your home won't have access to that. Thoroughly vet anybody that you're going to allow into your home in a manner like that. Use a reputable company. Check with the Better Business Bureau to make sure that you're using somebody that's on the up and up. What to do if you're the victim of a scam? That's kind of the $1 million question. What do you do? Contact your bank or the financial institution. If it's a credit card, call the company, make sure that it's something that's not supposed to be there. Freeze your accounts. If you see something that's not supposed to be there, immediately call your bank and say, hey, this is fraud. Let's lock it down until we figure out what's going on. Freeze your credit. Go in there. If you think you've been compromised, call all 3 credit reporting bureaus, freeze your credit. That's going to kind of prevent any further damage from happening and prevent more collateral damage. Yes.
Freeze your credit.
They can assist you with it. They can assist you with it. If you go in and ask them, they'll be well versed on what you need to do, and they'll probably have some literature for you or be able to guide you to the website or give you the phone number. And they typically would have an automated system that you could use to do that quickly. Yeah. Yes.
Well, freezing it, does it, let me think, I'll word it right. Does it affect your Gmail page? If it's only frozen just.
No, yes, my credit is frozen right now.
Okay.
And I do that just to prevent anybody from going and buying an ATV or going to buy a motorcycle or something that I'm not aware of, because your information's out there on the internet, the dark web. There's data breaches all the time. You see it on the internet, you see it on the news, all these companies have occasional data breaches. It's out of our control. That information is accessible. People can get it if they want to. So it adds an extra layer of security and prevention from somebody using your information to obtain a new line of credit or a loan, if that makes sense. And it doesn't hurt your credit score at all.
So what if it's frozen and you want to charge something? You have to call them.
It does not affect your current accounts. If you already have a credit card open or an account open, you can still use your cards as normal. It just prevents anybody from filling out an application and obtaining a new credit card, a new line of credit, something like that, anything new. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How easy is it to unfreeze that?
It's very easy. So I've actually got the app for all 3 credit bureaus. So I can just go on there and swipe it and it unfreezes it. It's pretty user friendly. And like I said, you can do it over the phone or whatever. And that just, that way you're not seeing because with a credit card, I get an alert anytime my credit's ran.
Right.
So, and obviously the more times your credit's ran, it lowers your score too. So that causes some problems. So I like to monitor all that kind of stuff. So with that, I can prevent anybody from going and buying anything, you know, opening loans, whatever. And it's very helpful. Yes. So it's going to be Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And if you go to their websites, it should be right on the front page about how to use your credit. Those are the three major credit reporting bureaus.
And they're the only ones that can freeze.
Yeah, those are the only ones that typically anybody worries about. Yeah, that's what I do. I've got an account with each of them and I can do it very quickly and easily.
Okay.
Yeah, question back here on the right.
Is there a charge for freeze and
No, it's all free. It's there's no charge to you. Now they'll try to upsell you with credit monitoring, and that might be something you're interested in. But all of those, and I think at least two of those three major credit monitoring bureaus have a free service for credit monitoring. So it doesn't cost you anything if you want to freeze your credit, and it doesn't cost you anything to unfreeze it. So it's just an option that's out there. Yes.
If somebody know and who's a business person you're working with, you know them, so they're not suspicious, you're not suspicious of them. They need your social security number. Is it safer to give it to them on the phone versus in an email, or is there?
I would highly recommend not giving any information over the phone or email. I would go, if I have to make any kind of a major transaction that involves that, I would go directly to that part, to the bank, and do whatever I needed to do. Now, I do realize that sometimes you have to fill out things online for applications or just know where you are. And if you look at the top of your screen, whenever you go to a website, it should say HTTPS. That means it's a secure website. So.
I'm talking about like my tax preparer.
Mhm.
It's my social security
Yeah.
number, and she's not here in Lexington.
Mhm. Yeah.
So what would be best?
Well, I mean, if you know you're talking to that person, yeah, and she's doing your taxes, yeah, and I would think in that circumstance, I would assume you're probably okay just to give it to her over the phone, because you know who she is, you've used her before, she's going to have your information anyways when she files your taxes. Your social security number is going to be on the return, so.
Somebody could get it from you if you did it by email, right?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, if your email account's compromised, it's possible. I probably wouldn't recommend sending it via email.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, question in the back.
Okay, I was gonna tell you that, latest phone updates as far as the iPhone goes, they have this thing called report on a telephone number. Under what circumstances should you use that? Because I'm not sure. I've had 3 or 4 calls scammed since I've been in this room.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
And I would assume with that update, it's referring to scam numbers that you're wanting to report as fraudulent or something like that.
but I never know exactly if they're scam or not, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's reportable to do them any harm, you know.
You know, I wouldn't do them any favors, but then again, if it's somebody that's trying to reach you in a legitimate capacity, they're going to leave a message, and you're like, oh yeah, that's my Uncle Bob from wherever, and you call them back. But yeah, so all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, question over here on the side. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
My name
Yeah.
is Sean Schuler. I was gonna ask you all about something, about a case of one that where my mother calls me and everything and stuff from Russell Springs or Georgetown, and I'm over in Lexington where, long story short, and if somebody calls me and my phone, this phone don't say no name on it and nothing and stuff. Right here, and things, and it don't say who the caller is. How would I know to be able to answer it? Or if it's somebody I don't know, what do I need to do or say, just hang up on them? You know what I mean? Let them know that I'm on the other line.
Well, what I would recommend, Sean, I appreciate your question, is I would let it go to voicemail. If you don't recognize that phone number, just let it go to voicemail. And if it's somebody that you know trying to get a hold of you, they'll either send you a text message or leave you a voicemail.
I
And
can't see really.
okay, I got you.
I mean, I'm legally blind, I'm not totally blind.
I think what he's trying to say, if he answers his phone,
Uh-huh.
it's like he hears like a voice that he doesn't recognize.
Okay.
That's the best.
Okay.
Just
Hang
hang up, I say.
Yeah, no voice at all. I would hang up. You might ask some questions. If it's somebody saying they know you or from a particular organization, you can ask questions and try to figure out if they are who they say they are. Ask the purpose of their phone call, and then just kind of go from there. And if you don't recognize it as a legitimate business call or something you were expecting or a reason they would be calling you, I'll just hang up.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone told me that, like, when they call and they'll say, is this Judy? And you say, yes, then they could use that yes as permission later on into whatever it is that they're trying to scam. So is it best not to say yes?
Well, I will say this, a lot of times with that, they're phishing.
Yeah.
So they're hoping that they're getting you on the phone. They're thinking they have the right number for you. And once you validate that, then they're going to kind of go into their whole deep dives, whatever their spiel is or whatever their scam is. Because if they potentially have a phone number for you, they think, okay, well, I know what her address is. I think I've got a partial date of birth. And they're going to ask you to verify other things that they may have partial information for. And then once that information is out there, well, they've already got the keys to the castle at that point. So
that's what I figured, yes, and then they could use that as permission for whatever. But-
Yeah.
So I've been trying to, when I answer and they'll say, is this Judy? I say speaking, or who do you want? or
I would
something
just,
like
I would
that.
politely say, may I ask who's calling, please?
Yeah.
You know,
Or who's
and just,
calling,
you know,
yeah.
just in a polite manner, just may I ask who's calling?
I just always say, why are you calling? And
Yeah.
they automatically hang up.
Yeah.
You'll learn pretty quickly if it's a legitimate call or not, because they're throwing that net out there and they're hoping they get a bite, so.
And
If you ignore it, they will, answer, they'll just hang up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they know, it's just.
Yeah, they're going to put in their work to make some money, but they're also going to go for the path of least resistance. And they're looking for somebody that they can latch on to and make some money off of quickly. So yeah, go ahead.
I had one, you were talking about the websites. So I have one from Ace Hardware telling me that I had one that's shot back. And then they show a big picture of this, real elaborate shop back. But in the advertisement it says you have one a shot, SHOT back. And I'm like, what is a shop back?
Yeah. So I'll also
Shop,
say this.
SHOP.
With fraudulent emails and websites or correspondence you might receive from a text message, you can quickly tell if it's not from the US. The English will be very broken. It won't have proper grammar. You can tell that it's either been pushed through maybe Google Translate or something of that nature. And it's not in common English that you would typically use. So that's kind of a clue.
Yeah, Lowe's will come, and instead of the regular Lowe's wording or whatever, it'll be like Lowe's at star O star, so it's always a little bit different in their logos.
So going back to what to do if you're the victim of a scam, call and file a police report. Sometimes we can't help at the local level. Sometimes with the internet scams, it's very difficult. We don't have a cyber crimes unit with the Lexington Police Department. With things like that, we will try to help you, provide resources and tell you what the best practice is going to be. But we're going to refer you to a website called ic3.gov. It's the letter I, the letter C, the number 3.gov. And that website goes to the federal government, the FBI, the Secret Service, and things like that. With that being said, if you're the victim of a scam and you've sustained a monetary loss, contact us, because if it's quick enough, sometimes we can help you get that money retracted. Now going back to the case I mentioned a few minutes ago about the $600,000 in wire transfers, we caught that quick enough and we were able to contact the Secret Service and they were able to retract that money for the lady in Colorado. So if you think you've been the victim of something, call us sooner rather than later, because sometimes we can help get you a stop payment on something, or we can help retract a wire transfer or point you in the right direction, help you get your credit frozen so there's no more damage done, and then start working on getting things taken care of. But
And with that being said, if you ship something out, if you contact us quick enough, we could probably reach out to that carrier and stop shipment too. So don't wait. Yeah, let us know as soon as possible.
Yep. So moral of the story here is know who you're dealing with. It's always best practice to have a trusted person at your bank or something like that. Or have a trusted person in your family that, hey, if you see something you don't think is right, maybe get a second opinion before you go do something that's going to put you in a bad financial position, potentially losing thousands of dollars or even your life savings. Yeah.
Do you have any paper on this to show what somebody can do or go to?
Any paperwork? So what I'm going to do, I've actually got some literature. I've got an identity. It's called an identity theft recovery packet. It's from the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and I'm going to send that via email, maybe later today. And then your organization can disseminate that via email, or maybe print some pamphlets or something like that. And it's got all the information about freezing your credit, what to do if you're the victim of identity theft. It's even got some templates, some paperwork on what you would maybe send to a bank or a credit card company if something's not right, how to dispute something. It's about 40 pages of good information that I'll make available to you guys. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll email that to Susan after we leave today, and make sure that everybody has access to that. All right. So I think we've kind of gone over a lot of the scams, and I know we're kind of short on time, so I'll just open it up for questions. If anybody has any. Okay, yeah, I just want to leave a few minutes for questions and yeah.
I got a quick question. I was hacked on about a year ago. I thought I was talking to somebody that wasn't legit, but I got hacked on Facebook. They got into my account. So I just put up a new account with my name and everything. And I think what happened, I looked at my old account where somebody hacked it, they changed everything, and somebody said that sounds like somebody else that I know or whatever. They put something down, and I think they just changed my name on it. But I put a note out saying I had been hacked, and I got pretty much all the people that I know pretty much back on it. So I think everybody probably realized that.
So Facebook is one of the biggest headaches that we see. Facebook will not cooperate with us in law enforcement capacity without a search warrant or a subpoena. And they don't have an on-site, do they even have an on-site person you can call?
As far as I know, I don't think so.
It's all email, it's all send a message, it's the biggest pain to get your stuff fixed. So I feel for you if you've been the victim of that before.
I got to take care of it. At least I did not have any. You set it up several years ago, but I didn't have any things about bank account or anything. Now, I had a few phone numbers in there, but that was all right. But nobody said anything to me about I got in trouble. One lady told me that some lady put my picture with her or something, and she immediately deleted that.
Yeah.
And
And most of the scams that we see online with the Facebook marketplace and different things like that, it's somebody that's stolen your account or cloned it, and they're using your identity to post something up for sale. So you think you're dealing with this person Bob who looks pretty reputable. Well, it turns out Bob might live in another country, and you're sending money to an offshore account somewhere, and you'll never see that money ever again, or you'll never get the product that's promised to you. So just be careful.
I heard about one lady one time in a group like this. Somebody was speaking to us. Apparently a lady or a guy went to the bank, a lady went to the bank because her grandson or somebody she got a call, had an accident, wanted to wire a bunch of money, and the bank person who knew this person checked it out, and it was all a scam.
Yep, absolutely. And
I've heard
that's
sometime, like if I got my brother and my dad, like I heard somebody tell me, like my brother, if I got a call from him saying, I need wire, I had been in an accident, I need you to wire money out, I have a question to ask him, like, what's your birthday? What did we do maybe a few months before or whatever? To ask the questions about what we've done that I'll know if it's legit or not.
Yeah. And one big giveaway with that is they'll always say, now don't tell anybody that you're on the phone with me. Don't tell anybody in your family. Don't tell the police. Don't tell the people at the bank. And they'll trick you into going to the bank, and the bank will confront you about it. And they'll say, hey, I think this might be a scam. This is probably not in your best interest to do. And the scammer will prompt you to defy what the bank personnel are telling you, and it'll turn into an even bigger mess, so be careful. Yes.
I trust my bank pretty good. Mine are way on the other side of town. And I happen to get, like, somebody was mailing me checks, and I knew it was fishy. So I go, okay, I made an appointment with my bank, sat down, talked to my banker. I said, I've got a check here. Tell me if this check is honestly good or not. From the, and then I said, keep them, shred them, destroy them.
And-
Whatever you have to do to protect my vested interest.
And I'll say this, another thing we've been seeing a lot of recently, if you mail checks from your home, it's very risky. People are looking for the flag up on your mailbox receptacle and they're stealing checks out of your mailbox and they're counterfeiting those checks and they'll wind up being cashed for a different amount. And then you'll sustain quite a large loss and then you'll get a notification that the payment has not been made where it was supposed to go. So that's another thing to be mindful of. It's not typically a good idea to mail checks from your private receptacle at your house. It's typically safer to go to the post office, something like that. But,
Gee, they have that
Yeah.
money orders.
but as far as mailing them,
Yeah,
yeah, we see those counterfeited or stolen as well.
that's why I've got my new phone here.
Oh no,
I sent
Oh, no.
$63 or something, I haven't got my phone yet, and they haven't received the money order yet.
okay. Well, they should have given you a confirmation code that you should be able to contact. Did you use Western Union or?
Now, I got motors at the store.
But did you send the money order through Western Union or different?
No, I sent it to the phone company.
Okay.
They told me to.
Well, they should have given you a receipt and they should be able to track back and see
Oh,
what
they
happened to it.
They
the money
give me
order.
something in my money. I've got my phone yet. Okay, thank y'all.
Well, that's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
All
you
right.
very much.
No problem. Any other questions? Anything? Yeah, right here in the front. Go ahead.
I have a question. This has been something that's been bugging me for the past 25 years.
Oh, boy.
I've dwelled on this, and I don't know if it was technically a scam or if it was just a company that offered a really inferior product, but I came across this service where they would, if you paid them X amount of money, they would publish your creative work. I sent them my creative work and money, I got the book back, but it was really a crappy book. There was no table of contents. There was no table reference section. It was just everybody's creative work just randomly put in this book. Legally, was that a scam or was that just a company offering an inferior product?
Well, it could have been a little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, we see that sometimes, things are not exactly as they're advertised. I'm guessing that company's probably not in business anymore.
Well, that was 25 years
Yeah.
ago. That's
Yeah.
something that's bugged me for the past 25
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Because when I got it, I kind of felt cheated by the whole thing.
Yeah. Now I'll say this, if you'd sent your money and there was no service rendered for that money, it would 100% be a criminal act, because they've deceived you for your money. It sounds like they did a very poor job of providing the product or service that you paid for.
Well, I did
Uh,
get the product
yeah.
as promised, so they did fulfill that. But
Yeah.
it was just a very disappointing experience, and I kind of felt,
Yeah.
you could just kind of came away from
Yeah.
it feeling like.
With
you
stuff-
cheated.
With stuff like that, if it's an inferior or poor product, I would probably contact the company directly, voice your concerns. And if that doesn't work, then go to the Better Business Bureau or something like that to voice your concern about a poor experience with a company.
But then again, that was 1999. That's
Yeah.
5 years
At
ago.
this point, I probably would let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, we
But-
need to move on. Yeah,
All right. Well, thank you all so much for letting us come and talk, and thank you for the chili.
give them a hand.
Stay